Hi, we are here from the transition team on behalf of Session. In February, we shared a plan to hold congregational conversations on a quarterly basis. So this is our second one. As we are still in a time of flux between in-person gathering and online gathering, we decided to record a presentation so it was accessible broadly, and then to hold a Zoom on Thursday, May 27th at 7:30 for discussion. If anyone cannot make the online meeting, please reach out to any session member to ask questions or share feedback. This congregational conversation is focused on our transition timeline and objectives. The timeline is a target of when we hope to have things in place to move through our transition time. The objectives are 3 areas that we see as critical to accomplish to attract a strong candidate to our senior pastor position. So here's the timeline, and this is what you'll see on our website. In the Presbyterian Church, the time between pastors is not just a time to search for a new staff leader. It's a time of discernment and addressing issues so that we can be clear as we call a new pastor. People considering our church for their call will ask about the health of our congregation, our budget, our level of conflict, our focus on ministry. They want to know if they are a good match for us. So we need to be able to tell a compelling and clear story of who we are. We don't have to have everything complete and tied up neat in a bow, but we need to speak to issues and goals and how we're on a journey to work on them. Then a candidate can know if they're a good match for that journey. Traditionally, the Pastoral Nominating Committee has been responsible for this study. This time, our session is leading the effort to do a more inclusive process so more congregational members can be involved. As you can see on the timeline with the last full red dot, we have started the study with the congregational survey. Session will be continuing this work over the summer and submitting a transition study to Presbytery by the fall. Once they approve it, we'll form a Pastoral Nominating Committee, a PNC, which we hope to have in place somewhere around November 1st. We anticipate that the PNC will be able to complete their work and present a candidate by mid-spring with a start date of early summer.
So throughout this process, we're going to be keeping some objectives in mind. The first objective is to develop a shared understanding of our identity and what is important to us in our ministry. The rationale behind this is that this objective reflects the need to weave together our many experiences of First Pres into a description and set of hopes and priorities that both reflects our great diversity in our congregation and our experiences in our church and creates a shared sense of goals.
The second objective that we've identified is to develop a strong infrastructure that will fully support current and future ministries here at First Pres. So what do we mean by infrastructure? Well, it includes a facility plan that addresses our church building, its systems and facilities, upkeep and maintenance, and whether or not all of this meets the needs of the church now and can be easily adapted for future needs. The facility plan would also address the rental properties that First Pres owns, and it would determine the most effective use of these assets. A strong infrastructure also includes an updated staffing model, one that meets the needs of the congregation now and is flexible in order to meet the changing dynamics of the church going forward. And finally, we need to develop a sustained budget, one that fully and consistently funds the ministry needs of First Pres, without depleting our investments, which unfortunately has been done in the past. Committees within session, trustees, and members of the congregation have been formed, and they've been tasked with working on implementing these goals. Addressing all of this now, during a time of transition, is good for our church, and it truly is necessary. It will help us attract a pastoral candidate that's the right fit for our church, and it will help pave the way for a healthy future for First Pres.
The third objective is focused on communication. We consistently hear from a number of members that they have a desire for more transparency from leadership. Both session and staff have been working to address these concerns, of course, while protecting confidentiality of individuals. And yet it is something that we continue to hear on a somewhat regular basis. And so we ask ourselves, what would communication look like that would have our faith community feel a sense of connection to each other and trust in the leadership of the church? And what would communication look like where members would feel encouraged to express their questions, ideas, and concerns in a respectful and supportive way? We will be working on creating a process for communication throughout the church that allows people to engage and understand leadership decisions and the rationale behind them. This is one of the focuses that we'll have during our leadership retreat in June. As was stated previously, getting us to a good place in terms of communication and the other objectives will help us attract a new pastor that will be just right for our church and help to pave the way for a healthy future. We hope that you will join us for a congregational conversation on Thursday, May 27th at 7:30 via Zoom. Thanks so much.